us now.
Hey.
Great. Hello, everyone.
It might be a little bit delayed. And Tyler, when the chat goes, whoever's not getting cut at any given point will be doing the chat. Hey, look, looks like we actually do have a little bit wider framing than I thought we did.
Cool.
So I think we're okay. All right. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, are we all in frame? I think it's a little.
We'll figure it out.
Edna, shush. We're gonna have the dog chiming in on this one a little bit.
Yeah.
Is it stuck or is it going? It's hard to tell. All right, so I think we are live, and we are here today for a little tutorial on how to cut your family's hair. As we said, the first step is if you can get away with it, maybe don't. We're probably going to be doing some tutorials in upcoming days on how to style longer hair so that you can get through this time. I know personally how hard it is to get through a time having longer hair because, as you may remember, I had like a 2 on the sides at one point. Now look, this is some French braided stuff. Yeah.
All right.
It's getting serious. Yes, thank you, child. All right, so this is Morgan. This is the who used to be the shop kid extraordinaire when we opened the shop when she was almost 6 when we opened.
Yeah.
And now she's enormous, 11, and I keep finding my clothes in her room. It's good
Because
stuff.
you keep giving them to me.
No, but the ones I didn't give you. I only have so many clothes of my own now. You may hear a little clickety-clacketing around. That is the bunny. He lives in the kitchen because there's every room in this place, of course, has an animal. All right,
Yes.
So Morgan, we're probably going to be, let's flip you around here because we need to see certain parts of your head. Tyler is going to be kind of monitoring the feed here to make sure that I don't end up in the wrong place. So you may be at home with some shaggy people and they're trying to convince you to cut their hair. Hey Tyler, you can get in here for this part if you like. We'll see every little bit there, what's going on. Does it say the comments are off? Unable to connect. Well, let me just real quick pop over to YouTube proper. Get to this video, because sometimes I can see stuff over here. Alright, now we can see it.
Alright.
Okay, so you may be home with some shaggy people and they may be trying to convince you to cut
Their hair.
I don't.
Or their beard.
We've been in quarantine for a long time here, guys, and I've
But
been.
we already have one.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Oh, what's up, Kate?
What's going on, Kate? Every time we say hello, so Edna the shop dog. Let's bring her in here for a second. Back in the early days of the shop, she was in as a shop dog sometimes, and every time we would say the word hello to people entering the shop, she would bark at them. See?
Yep.
I don't think this is gonna get better. All right.
Yep.
Give me a hug. Come on, out.
That was it.
We'll get
5
through this.
seconds of fame.
This is gonna be the least cutting on a live stream ever. However, Morgan has enough. She doesn't have like a ton of hair right now. She's not super shaggy. She's been asking for a haircut for days and such. But I'm not going to be showing you how to give your husband / child / girl child with short hair a full-on haircut. Because the thing is, when people go through barber school, assuming they're doing 40 hours a week full time, for the amount of time that it takes to gestate a child. So when they get out of barber school, they're still having incredible amounts of problems with the transition areas of the hair, especially hair types that like to show scissor marks. It's going to be so hard to teach you guys how to do that at home because firstly, you probably don't have the proper tools. Like the tools we use are specialized and pricey. Or the training, it takes so much learning and so much muscle memory.
Yep.
We're not going to be able to teach that to you in a live stream video. However, we can teach you a couple of ways to just
little tips and tricks.
Fix some things and make it a little bit more bearable while we're going to be in quarantine for another month. It looks like the stay-at-home or shelter-in-place order got extended until April 30th. So
Hunker down, everybody.
Well, Morgan is not that shaggy for her right now because she usually gets it, pretty short, but not like,
Buzzed.
not like a 2 or anything.
Yeah.
But like, pretend this kid was a skin fade normally and she's this shaggy right now. If you were any dude at home, you'd be losing your mind. So those are the ones we're really talking about right now. Those are the people that we're gonna try to help here. All right, so I'm going to, Tyler, do you know where those ones are? Because that might be helpful.
I can try to find them.
I think I can maybe work with this in the meantime, but I only have.
Here.
Oh yeah, we totally have outlets over there. We only moved into this house back in like October or something, so I'm still figuring things out. Yeah, the outlets twist. That's fun.
Okay.
Gotta love old houses. All right, so let me try to figure out how to stay out of the way of the camera and also cut this kid, and also bend down a good bit. Maybe I'm just gonna get short. Should I just get short?
Yeah, get short.
How's that looking on there? Decent framing. Look through this one, obviously. That one's still good. All
They're
right,
all over
so
the place.
first thing you want to do. A lot of people, if they're going to be doing an around the edges sort of lineup, they have the instinct to start here. And a lot of times as barbers we do, but in this case, I'm not going to advise anybody to start there because it's really easy to go too high and leave a really heavy chunk here around the curve. So where we're going to start is the back of the neck area. One of the things that you see in barbering a lot is people pulling the hair out really strongly towards here. So if I were to pull the hair out, can you see that at all?
Try to move yourself a little more that way. There we go.
Okay. So if you're to pull the hair out this way, cut it up this way, this stuff right here has been bent forward and this is coming pretty much straight into the comb. So when you release that, this area right here is gonna pop back into place and you're gonna be left with a missing chunk here. You never know that's gonna happen until it happens. So be freaking aware. Before I turn that on. So what I'm gonna do first is work with the hair that's sitting exactly as it should on the neck. Like that is going straight on out. So I'm gonna go with the clippers. I combed it, but I'm not holding it with the comb right now. So I can see right here is my connection point.
You move the ear a little bit.
Okay. Right here is my connection point where you can see the hairline. So I'm just gonna take off those little chunky wings right there. I'm gonna do this in a really awkward manner because I'm cutting from my knees right now and trying to stay out of the way of the camera. I'm seriously much smoother than this in normal life. Tyler, anything on the...
Chris Penner says hello.
How's it going, Chris? Let me know, especially if there's any questions. Oh my god, you know what? I just turned 37 the other day and my knees are not built for this shit. Alright, maybe I can get above it a little bit. Alright, so now...
Keep it family friendly.
Sorry. Morgan's is our sensor around here. Alright, so now we have all this chunky stuff. So what I said before about not pulling the hair on out, that's still going to be the case, but you do want to get some of that. So you're only going to pull a little bit. You're not swinging this hair all the way out to the hairline. What you're doing is just lightly helping it stand up. And then right along here.
It's hard to see. Yeah,
There we go. Right along here, we're just going to connect the dots. And then if you have a steady hand, you can also just touch up those edges. You'll notice I'm steadying on her shoulder right there. Let me try getting around this way now.
Oh, there we go.
Actually, I might be able to
Yeah.
get a good angle this way. Alright, so generally when I'm cutting, I don't move the head like this that much, but for these purposes, I will. So this was a tricky little trick for barbers that I like to teach, but anybody could use it. This is where we get fancy with our fingers. You ready? Okay, so gotta get the ear out of the way, right? So you're gonna use your thumb right there, pull that ear on down. Now, I'm holding my comb between these two fingers here and steadying it here. Comb on down. And I'm really not putting much tension in here, just very lightly. Also make sure that my comb isn't held out like this. It's pretty flat. So get around the edges, hopefully you can see. Now we're gonna pull down again on the ear, just get a different grip. And you see how this stuff right in here now pops right out. Again, I'm not using a ton of tension, just enough to get those little edges. All right, now, I think I'm gonna have to do the knees thing again. Ugh, I hate it. All right. So in here, with Morgan at least, I wanna leave these little LP sideburns, but this stuff is the stuff that pretty soon is gonna be growing inside her ears and is gonna be really annoying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hates that stuff. All right, so this is another one of those, if you have a steady hand, hold the ear back a little bit because that gives you a little bit of room. And just lightly trace on up. That's all you need. Now, you see that disconnection there? Again, this is for my little girl pixie cuts, less of that for the dude cuts. If this was a little boy's cut and I weren't trying to keep things healthy, I'd just boop that right there. And then the last bit here, really pull the ear down on this one. And just that guy, right there, see? Boop.
Hey, Jackie.
Just using the tip of the clippers here
We miss you too.
Yeah, we miss you so much.
to grab the bits. Alright, so
I think I would pick something.
Oh, Mag's quarantine cut sounds like a fantastic series.
right?
It does.
We
It really.
We only have 2 models.
Technically 3.
Does somebody have a, if somebody has a mannequin head, we have one, but I don't know where it is and it's kind of already pretty done. Alright, so little extra tip here that's gonna make this a lot better. Tyler, can you see the little chunky spot right here
Yeah,
in that? Okay, so with that
not
spot,
super detailed, but we're
with
working
that
with a
spot,
line
one of
there.
my favorite things to do to make this feel a ton more manageable, I'm gonna take the comb and pop it into the hairline right here. You see that little bit of overhang? This is where I cut it to, and all the rest of the hair is there as well. But a little bit of tapering, just knock off the edges and slowly move the comb up. You barely need to do anything. Just the tiniest bit will make this feel so much more manageable and make it so that it's less likely you're gonna have to do this next week, maybe 2 weeks. Alright, a little bit more. Boop, boop, boop.
This
You can do
is
the same here.
this is kind of what we refer to in the shop and in barbering as kind of using the comb like a guard, but you can manipulate the comb to any length that you want so that you can kind of keep it pulled out a little bit farther so that you don't take too much off. You don't want to end up with nothing but skin and then have those weird step lines and awkward weights.
So Morgan has the same back colics as her uncle and her dad when he still had a little bit more hair. Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna hit the side super duper quick here. So she has a really good neck full of nightmares to learn things on. And in fact, we passed her around to a couple of the newer barbers in the shop because, like, this colic is, we know how to handle this stuff. However, if you're new in the industry, or you just
know how to
haven't,
handle this.
or if you just haven't really encountered stuff like that before, it's
It's
varsity, is what it is. Okay, straighten up. Cool, cool. All right, back down. Are you nice and level? Proper?
Sit up straight.
There you go. Posture, child. There. Oh my gosh, look how tall you are.
Hey,
Look.
look at that.
You're a barber's kid. You know proper barber chair posture. All right. Getting back down here again. Just gonna hit that edge a little bit more now that I can see it from that angle.
Kate, we are using the wide tooth side of this taper comb.
We are. Thank you for an excellent question.
Yeah, there's many different combs that exist. I'm sure everybody has at least one or two at their home. Most combs will work for this purpose. You do want to make sure that if you have one like this,
gonna
this is
demonstrate
fantastic.
by using a completely different comb. One thing I used to say in the classes that I taught when people are like, oh, what's your favorite comb or clipper or scissor or whatever, I'm pretty non-discriminatory when it comes to the tools. I will use whatever's there and be just fine with it. It's handy because when you're married to another barber, half the time your tools are in their stuff and you kind of just make do with what you have. So Tyler and I have both been pros at that for years.
Yep.
Legit. All right. Oh, back down. Can we see? All right. So Morgan's is not too bad. If I were doing this in the shop, I would do this very, very differently than what I'm going to do right now. But you see how her hairline kind of makes a decent little rounded thing? In the shop, we almost never do rounded hairlines. We pretty much always do tapered. However, if that hairline's kind of making its own reasonable shape, shoot, just go with that, you know? So same here, I'm just taking up those little fuzzy bits. Now, right here we have a couple of different, actually this is the worst side. We have hair stream that goes here, hair stream that goes here, this one that goes here, and then boom, this guy that goes right back up in there. So this is the convergence of like 4 different rivers.
Going like this and like this, and then they grow and they pop everything
It's
out
just
all
the curse
wild.
of the Flippin' Andersons, you guys.
We're not the only ones.
You're not, but it's strong in all of you. All right, so
Oh god,
Here's-
every single one of us.
here's how I'm gonna handle that.
Till the youngest.
And I'm gonna try to use as little specialized technique here as possible. But if I just take the comb and pop it into here, you see that little chunky nugget? I'm just gonna use this to point cut that chunky little nugget. Grab it again, and anything that pokes out significantly beyond the rest, yeah,
How are we looking on questions,
that
Father?
is pretty
So far,
reasonable.
so good.
All right, same here. I'm just gonna take a little bit of weight out of it. This is a pretty darn safe way to remove a little bit of weight without having to have, you know, good scissors, literally any.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm wearing Dad's slippers, so they're like a little extra roomy, and if I don't catch it just right, I go into the edge of it and then it goes wrong.
Floppy shoes.
Floppy shoes. I haven't been wearing real shoes for a while. All right, Morgan, let's flip the chair around. Can you get up for a sec? Because I need to get your other sideburn there, and just to again demonstrate that the tools are not really the issue.
Is the hair, people. Is the hair.
Or the tools don't really make this. So to demonstrate that, on this side, it's a little bit different. I'm going to use my middle finger instead of my thumb. Or I could use this one, actually. Comb on down. Get those edges. Stop squirming, please. Sorry. Alright, this is going to be hard to keep myself out of the way. You can grab those edges. You could totally do this with scissors as well. Maybe we'll give Morgan another cut in about a week or so and show you that. Once again, you can just pull here. Really not being afraid to yank on people's ears is one of the things that makes or breaks good edges. Come on, little earsicles, you can move. All right, and then once again, we're gonna take just that little bit off the edges. You can either do it by taking a little straight bit or chunky bits, whatever you are more comfortable with. I recommend maybe starting with
Chunking.
the chunking and then moving to the straight.
I'm gonna
All right.
do a little demo a little closer to the camera of just what that would look like. Comb, like, hold it here.
Okay. Sorry. Do what now?
If to show what the chunking technique would look like, just comb to clipper.
Okay.
So pretend you have it scooped into the comb.
Straight would be taking the blade of the clipper against the comb and just using that as your guide. Just like that. Now, if you have the hair coming out, make sure in this case that the hair is out a little farther than it would be for the straight technique. And
Say about a 1/4 inch or more.
I'd say yes. Yeah. And then you go a little more like that and touch, 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 touch. Not straight on because you won't really take anything off, just a little bit of bend to that.
Yeah.
All right, so Morgan is done for now.
Yep.
And your father will be next. Morgan will be hanging out and watching the comments and letting us know if you have any questions. Oh, and it looks like Beard's Guard, I'm assuming that is Lindsay,
Yes.
is handling all sorts of things on there.
Lindsay's in the digital chat.
Yep.
All right,
All right now.
that will work. Ooh, you know what? Tyler, talk to.
Hi.
Go ahead, you can turn it to the camera for you for a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get one prop that I need to demonstrate something for you. Will you hang on to this?
Yep.
And tell people about how you would handle your cheeks if you were by yourself.
Yes. Beard guys. Anybody who has a beard or even wives of bearded people, don't let them just start hacking away at the beard. I'm going to show you a couple of quick tips and tricks that I use both in the shop to trim up cheek lines on my clients as well as myself. All you really need is your comb and your clipper and a good mirror with some good lighting. So the bathroom obviously is going to be probably where you're going to do this, but you can utilize the comb. You want to pull everything down and out of the way. And then with the back edge of the comb, the spine of the comb, you're going to find your cheekbone. Everybody's is a little different. Mine sits right about here. And then move your finger slowly down until it gets into the soft part of your cheek. Just underneath, you'll feel where the muscle sits. And then imagine a line coming from that point to the corner of your actual lip. And you're going to use the back edge of the comb to create your line. There you go. So everything above this gets trimmed and cleaned out, and everything below it, leave it alone.
All right.
That way you're not going to get those jowly Amish cheeks, the swoops.
Swoops.
Don't like the swoops.
No
Not
swoops. No swoops.
All right, husband, would you turn around, please, and face away from the camera?
Okay.
Thank you. When we are all alone together for too long, the voices all start, and it gets silly. Is what it gets. Do we have a little clippy for the cape at all here?
There was one. Was out there.
Who knows? It's just us. Who cares?
Not everybody has a clip.
That's true, but also most
Not
people
everybody.
don't have donkey capes like this.
True.
I mean, you'll probably be using a towel at home, and that is A-okay.
Yep.
All right. Would you hang on to this for me
You're
again?
welcome.
All right. So, I don't remember where I heard this. It was long ago, but and you know what I'm doing?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't advocate this during normal times as a way to like, hey, I could just like totally skip the barber by doing this. This is not as good as a barber, but it doesn't suck too bad either. Now Tyler doesn't have a lot of hair, and Morgan isn't a good candidate for this technique because it's not like she has a ton of neck hair. But there are tons and tons of significant others of fuzzy neck dudes out there right now whose dudes are begging them to shave their neck, and they're a little terrified because they don't know where to stop.
It's Sure.
All right, so we're gonna tell you where to stop. You can put that in here so you don't have to hold it up in the air, you goon. All right, let me move this light a little bit because I keep standing in the middle of it. All right, so for neckline stuff, where's your back of your jaw? All right, so I'm reaching in here. Morgan, are we able to see? I think we are. Let's turn you a little bit actually. So cheekbone, and where's the edge of the jaw?
You're
Right
just
there.
you're just like right out of the frame. But
It seems to be wider on there, so I think it's okay. I don't need to be in frame either, just my hands and the important parts over here. So back of the jaw is generally about the highest. Go ahead and turn straight again. That's a bunny moving around over there. This is about the highest you ever want to go with that neckline. Don't go above there, okay? Step number 1. Step number 2, if you want to get a basic guideline for, I think Morgan might have turned that a little bit. Boop it on back. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, find yourself a hat. Place said hat, not exactly on the back of the head, but about there. So find yourself back of the back corner, run it on around. That's your guideline. Husband, the clippers, please. Make sure you get straight on to check that we are indeed even. And just go ahead and get that as low as you need to. Go ahead and clip her up to that line. You can go like this a little bit, but make sure if your clippers are sharp that you're not really pressing, because otherwise you can do an owl. Keep your guideline right on there. You know, like they do sell tools for this, but literally this is damn near as solid.
perfect. Or less.
Thank you. Alright. So now, go ahead and get on down in there as far as you need to, and just shape up to that area. If the hair grows in the opposite direction and it doesn't want to get got, go ahead and flip your clippers. And get on in there. Off to the other side. Hey Morgan, anybody asking anything? Anybody need anything?
No, not yet.
Try not to bump the camera if you would be so kind.
What?
Try not to bump the camera if you would be so kind.
Oh, that was just my the back of my foot hitting this.
The dog just cannot handle that there's something happening without her right now.
Yeah.
Alright, so we got that mostly shaved. So if you want some extra credit on necklines, you know, we're just gonna do one of these guys now because we're real low rent over here. Alright, so it's still a little bit low because I did put my finger right there, so I do have my basic guideline. Now with Tyler's in particular, you can see right here where he's got those hair streams, much like Morgan does. So following that actually might not be a bad idea. Hat me again.
Hat.
So what I'm saying is, you can take a second bite at the apple if you decide, because yeah, I put my finger there. I should have probably measured below that, because I usually do this with my eyeballs and not in fact a hat.
Oh, Lauren has joined.
Hey, Lauren.
Saying she misses us. Both her and T miss us.
Oh, hey you guys.
We miss you too.
Hope you're enjoying the lovely, lovely apartment. All right, extra credit now. If you want, you can pull the hair down with a comb and just get those little bitty edges. Because if you only take off what really, really grows strongly to the hairline, you're gonna get these long guys over here. So pull those on down and just hit the old edges. It feels so weird to be doing this because we're definitely going to shave your head after this.
Oh yeah.
Same over here. Just pull on down, grab them edges, clippy clippy, easy peasy. How did you do it when you were little? Cheddar cheesy, lemon squeezy,
Yes.
all that. All right, husband, would you turn to your side, please? Why, thank you. All right. Now, let's say you have a bald and bearded husband or dude living with you. Many of us do. They're a pretty common species we found in business.
We are legion.
Yes. Yes, it did migrate. Thank you, Lindsay. We appreciate you. All right, so let's say you are gonna do the full take off the head stuff. We'll get to that later because, like, you don't really need too much instruction on that.
We have a question. Do you just clipper shave the head right down or straight razor?
I rarely straight razor him anymore, mostly because we just never seem to get around to it. And also, he saves his head for the staff to practice on to their heart's delight. I'll maybe get around to it, but like, we cut a lot of hair. We kind of get lazy with each other. I mean, obviously, he hasn't cut me in ages, you know. All right, so let's say you're going to be doing bald and beard. We have a number of different demos we can do on this head right now. So let's say this right here. This is going to be your stopping point. Some people tend to do it like that. That looks awkward. It's like you got this top mutton chop thing. No, you want it right there. Any lower, and it also looks more like you're wearing your beard as an accessory that you put on than something that's growing out of your face. So we're going to keep it to the real lines of the head. We're going to shave the top part, so feel free to just donk that on in there, right? Get rid of that. Okay. What was it? I was watching, All the Chads, right? Donk.
Yeah.
The donk, yes. All right. So when it comes to the rest of the beard here, you would be surprised how many dudes come in and they're like, oh man, yeah, I need you to take off like a couple inches. And I do basically what I'm gonna do right now. And I say, hey, how's that look? Before I've even touched anything on the bottom. And they're like, yeah, that's perfect. Because this is literally enough to handle most beard grow out and keep you like looking and feeling reasonable and keep it from eating your face. Ready? It's pretty minor, but it makes a big difference. Not even that much with Tyler right now because he doesn't have all that much grow in at the moment. Give us a few weeks, we'll do this again. All right, so the back of the beard line, as far as I consider it, is this stuff. Whatever grows past the sideburn area. Now, I'm not saying you won't necessarily need to take stuff off the neck here. However, if I just comb this stuff back, especially anything in this region, just give it a comb, give it a comb. And now I'm going to do that freehanding thing again where I just visualize that line. Oh my gosh, you see how much of a difference that makes? Isn't it crazy? So crazy. All right, a little bit more. Now, if I want, I can use my comb to help me along here. Again, I'm not like, combing it back. I'm just kind of giving it a little help to stand up and then popping right around that line there, right? You can also go in here and just give that a little clean up. And then right down the side. Isn't that lovely?
Alright guys, if you're gonna try this on your own beard,
Yeah.
you need to make sure that
Guys,
you keep your head and your shoulders square like this, because as soon as you turn, so if I was in the mirror and I turn my head like this, now this line naturally gets pulled back a little bit more. So if I were to continue straight down, I would take out all of this extra chunk here. I don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that when you're pulling things back, that you keep yourself squared here and here.
Good advice. Okay, nexties. So So I'm gonna do you already talked about the cheek lining parts, yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
but we can always go back to that
So
so that they can actually see it.
dudes had cheekbones, women had cheekbones. We are taught
Everyone
from
does.
a young age to use them to accentuate.
We all
things
have
with-
cheekbones.
Thank you, Morgan. With blush and things. Dudes have beards. Let's use cheekbones, right? So the back of it starts right there. The front of it, where's the mouth? Oh, there it is. Boom. Mouth parts are right here. Connect the dots. I used to have a dude that would actually bring in a Sharpie and draw that on. Because he was kind of nutty about things like that. Oh jeez, you got your super sensitive Nordic skin. You're just turning pink all over. So that's all it takes. Just knock off that little bit right there, that little bit right there, connect the dots, get the top stuff. Now up top here, best way to handle this is take a thinner comb preferably, and this part you really do want to scoop the hair and just take off those extra long parts towards the top here by really just cutting at that line. You're going to give it a little bit of upward tapering. Now you can definitely go back and detail this some more, but you know, you also don't necessarily need to go crazy on it. Everybody's under state shelter-in-place orders right now. People will understand if you are not looking your most typical. All right, so you see how much of a difference that makes? One other little thing that you can do. Oops. I was gonna hang on to the comb. So this right here is what we call the beard nugget. You see, with the rest of Tyler's beard right here.
You leave my nuggets.
What's that?
You leave my nuggets alone.
I'm talking about you nuggets, so I don't necessarily have to cut them, but the rest of the beard is here right now. And then the nuggets are all the way down here. So if this part of your beard is feeling absolutely ridiculous, if you go ahead and lift yourself right up here, you see how that part of his beard right there, it's a whole separate hair stream of his face that's coming off of his neck area, and especially the part that's coming and growing upwards.
We have a question
One.
from Chris Pinner. Can you guys show how to do the eyebrow clean up?
Absolutely.
Yes. So if I was to be taking some of this this bulky stuff off from under here, I just really cut that. If you just cut that part, that will shape it up into the rest of the beard and be a lot less annoying for you. Alright, those are the basics. I think we can probably clean the rest of that up off camera, but go ahead and spin around for the eyebrows.
Yeah. Eyebrows.
Yes.
We
Alright.
have them and they get out of control.
Let's say I'll do one with clippers, one with scissors, because who knows what people have.
Sure.
Okay, you do preferably want a skinny little mini comb of some sort. Something not huge is preferable. So with eyebrows, usually you're gonna get like long flyaways that are the problem. So my trick is to comb it down straight, instead of just combing it with the way that the hair grows. Comb it possibly against the direction of hair growth, but whatever it is, straight down past the line of the eyebrow. And once you do, especially if you're looking from above, you're gonna see some hairs just pop out like crazy. Tyler's, for all of his fuzziness, his eyebrows are not much of an issue, and even when they do,
It's because I keep them cleaned up.
even if you didn't, even if you had no cutting tools, they wouldn't be that much of an issue. You have pretty normal eyebrows. Just take the compliment, alright? Shut up. Be complimented.
God.
If you have extra long ones, you can also comb them upward and see if you have any pop out there. If you have extra long guys, just make sure you're holding your comb up and straight, because if you're just combing over the top like this and cutting, what you'll usually get are thinner areas of your eyebrows that make it look like, you see how Tyler has these thicker parts right here? Even if your eyebrows don't do that, a misplaced too much trimming will make you look like you're just extra angry all the time.
Rawr.
He's not angry, but people sometimes think he's angry because of the eyebrows.
It's just my face.
It's not like your eyebrows are even particularly thick. It's just that they're not overly thick. And we are not getting random phone calls from probably telemarketers right now. Okay, so now
We also have another question.
what's the question, Morgan?
From Prison X. Prison X, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Okay.
They tend to grow the beard a bit shorter. Where do I trim up to the neck hair in the front?
I will be demonstrating that on probably Morgan actually in a minute.
It's a good question.
After I hit this eyebrow. Hang on 1 second. Alright, so it's literally the same thing. You just comb down, touch the couple that need touching, comb up, touch the couple that need touching, boop. And that's it. I know you don't see a difference on him because he didn't really need it, but that's how you do it. Okay, let's talk about bottom of the beard linings.
Necklines.
Let's have you guys switch out for a second.
Yep.
Alright, perfect.
Morgan, we're gonna pretend you're a bearded person. Have a sit. There you go.
I'm short again.
Yes.
That's okay.
Actually, you know what, Morgan, you can sit up the way you were a second ago.
Oh.
You know what? Actually, let's go ahead and take the chair away. And Morgan, let's just have you stand about a foot or so from the fridge.
A
Perfect.
little bit more.
There you go.
There you go.
Good.
Got 2 squares.
Great.
That's excellent. All right, so let's say you have a shorter beard, right? And you're looking to line the parts. I appreciate you, but we don't need this. All right, so let's look up and over a little bit. I'm also gonna grab the other comb. So if you're trying to line your beard, the first place you wanna hit is the middle part right here. So also we'll grab clippers and we're gonna fake this.
Yes, you're faking.
Alright, so here is the jawbone. Here is, do the like stranglehold move right there. That is, Morgan, thank you. Alright, that's gonna be too low, that's gonna be too high. You're aiming for somewhere in the middle. Now, if you have a bit fuller of an under chin area, you're gonna be aiming for not like the lowest part, but just a tiny bit behind it. So in lieu of having anything like that though, we would just go and hit up. Get rid of that cord that's not clipped in or anything. We would just put our comb in right in the middle there and just boop,
Your
a
head
line
maybe.
right in, right there. Sorry. Pop a line right in, right there. Then we would go over and feel for the jawbone. We're not going to be putting that line right on the jawline because that is going to make your face look really short and stumpy, and you don't want to make your face look wider than you need to, you know? That's not the point of a beard. You're going to go underneath. So snuggle in underneath that jawbone, and you're going to hit the line there and connect the dots there. Your back line is going to be just underneath that jawbone. Then again, boop, 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 right up the back edge, and you're done.
If I may.
Wait, but
I have-
there's more.
There is
Yes.
more. There's another trick. If you're going to be doing this to yourself in the mirror.
Oh, yes.
Oh, come back.
Well,
I need
Yes,
you.
we're still
Yep.
using,
We're
you're
still
our
good.
fake beard today, Morgan.
Yes.
Yay!
So if you're going to be trimming up the neckline for your beard in the mirror, you're going to take the comb and you're going to place it in the crook of where the chin meets the neck. So that, see, come this way. There we go. Chin up a little. So how the neck goes like this and then comes down. You want it to sit right in the middle of that area, so that when you tilt your head back a bit, it's going to sit here in the center, and then you're going to imagine that comb just staying level to the ground to either side. And you can go through and then detail clean up if one side's a little bit lower than the other, but very, very little bits of cleanup.
Yeah.
That should give you a really good solid shape to start with when trimming up the neckline underneath.
All right, another tip too, because let's say your beard is somewhere between Morgan's fake beard here and Tyler's beard, which is all the way down here. Let's say your beard grows to here. Do you want to still trim it? Like, do you still want to move your beard out of the way and trim all the way up to that neckline?
No, you don't.
You sure don't. Because why are you moving hair out of the way to shave a part that's totally hidden? It's silly. So, if your beard grows to here and you're looking straight on at, let's say, the mirror, you're going to trim your neckline to here. So, in most of those cases, if your beard is about halfway down your neck, all you're going to have to trim are some of the little outer fuzzies. If your beard's all the way down to here, guess what? You don't have to shave your neck at all.
Yeah.
What else we got? Trying to think if there's anything else on the docket short of finishing your head, which is not particularly entertaining.
Could be.
I guess it could be.
Yeah.
Could give more home tips.
But yeah, if we don't have anything else to demonstrate right now, we can just go ahead and jump into that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can teach, no, we don't have the rest of the clipper stuff right here. Alright, let's move stuff back. We were thinking it'd be fun to have Morgan cut Tyler, but can you hold that please? Sure.
Could be fun.
Make sure you don't drop it.
Yes.
Alrighty.
No, I don't think we should. Draw some designs there. No, I don't think we should.
Oh goodness. They do that at work sometimes, but I do not feel the need personally. I'm good. Alright. So, other side here. The hardest part of cutting for stuff like this is trying to just get it seen with your angles, because I don't like to ever turn people's heads when I cut them. Also make sure
rotate a bit.
Also make sure when you're cutting somebody that their head is not doing one of these or one of these. I always try to make sure those are not great either, but the ones where it skews their head's natural angle, I try to make sure that the head is sitting so in the same sort of way that it would be if the person was standing up, just kind of resting on top of their
Posture is important.
Yes. You know what?
We have a question. Or
What is that question?
We need, one of the people need advice on trimming longer mustache style.
Ooh, longer mustache.
Oh yes, we could
Absolutely.
absolutely do that. We'll do that right now.
How long is your mustache?
Well, we're gonna keep an eye out for how long that mustache is, but this is how we do it. Longer mustache styles, Tyler absolutely has one. So, firstly, I'm going to find his real mustache. So you find his lip, and find that corner right there.
Oh, thanks.
Hook it, like a fish hook. Blah. Alright, not like that. Grab the parts above that, and not the parts below that, because this stuff that I'm holding right now is his mustache. This stuff is not. One of my favorite little tricks here is to, you can do this with clippers or scissors, just trim, not all the way down, but trim down a little bit, some of those hairs that lay just below the mustache that are trying to be part of the mustache party, but are not supposed to be part of the mustache party, and in fact, will kind of knit your mouth together when you eat and do things
And
and
get
such.
stuck in the burgers and the soup and
Oh, the
all the
cupcakes.
things. Yeah.
Legit anything that would get in around.
You will notice too that this area is directly adjacent to that area we were talking about with cheek line trimming. So we're just gonna donk. That's not shush you. Alright. Tripping on my own feet again. I'm good at this job. Alright.
You've been cooped up too long.
I haven't been drinking even. Yeah. Alright, so ready? We're gonna go and comb straight
yes.
up into the mustache.
We have the length shorter, just over my upper lip, but growing it up.
Okay,
Excellent.
perfect. So, actually I'm just gonna do this with just comb here. So, I'm going to take everything that fits into my comb right here. Just keep on combing like that until they get annoyed. And then hold it up, and you'll see that the bridge of this comb is actually touching his nose. So use the nose as a guide. Sometimes your comb is going to be, way lower than this, but I'm really just going until just some like extra long hairs are poking out of that, and then I'm going to give it a little trim, just a tiny bit. You had like maybe a dozen extra long ones coming out of right here versus right here, which is really common for him. He has these more coppery mustache bits here and here and here, but like these couple of streaks right here are just dark as can be, and they grow a lot faster. So now with the rest of the mustache, I am again gonna grab the actual mustache, not a mustache. Oops.
Cool.
When we drop combs in the shop, it's always in dude's laps, and then like we just both stand there and stare at it most of the time. It's fun.
I just grabbed for it.
He probably does.
Shameless.
Or you can do the comb pop where you grab the edge of the cape and just go boop, and then grab it. It's super smooth. All right, so combing up again. I'm still keeping the comb completely straight across. So the face curves back and away right here. So by the fact that the comb is staying straight and I'm cutting this straight across, these outer edges are gonna naturally be longer because they're coming from farther away. Got that? All right, so literally just continue. You can also, if you're going for a really extended handlebar, obviously sweep out and away, but like you need to be way beyond Tyler's mustache length before you need to do anything like that.
Yeah. Also, if you're just in the process of growing your mustache out right now,
Feel free to keep talking, you're fine.
just let it grow.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about trimming it.
Let it grow.
Oh, there it is.
We appreciate you, Morgan. She will not let it go. All these years later. All right, let's get back to the side of your face.
Yeah. Okay. I guess
Alright.
one of the silver linings of this
Lindsay says
particular
that
thing,
Lindsay doesn't want to see your lip.
deal with it.
Or do you want to show what your lip looks like?
Ah, it's terrifying.
Also, where's your chin?
My chin sits here. This is my chin.
That is like a
On our-
lot of beer.
On our first date, he had shaved it all for a work reason.
Yep.
That we don't need to get into here, but I like this whole beards guard thing. If I had a little lower tolerance or higher standards, might never have happened. I don't know.
I won her over with my charm.
Was that what you wanted? It was your haters MTV collection that you brought with you. That's what it
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Turn. Boom. Let's do this. All right. So back edges again. That is a money fuzzy, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so I'm using this as an anchor right here, this right here. This is actually not too far in feeling from like laying in prone position with a rifle somehow, which is entirely too much in South Carolina where the spiders are flipping larger than necessary. Larger than necessary is what I call them. Alright, so back to that back edge there.
We got another question.
What is the question?
So they were wondering, is there a way to get things matched from side to side with just a strip of hair in the middle?
Is there a way to what? One more time.
A way to get things matched from side to side.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that again. Are we talking cheeks or neck?
It just says
Turn
have a
yours.
strip of hair in the middle, and then a beard on the sides.
Hang on, we will check into that question in a second because sometimes it's the delivery that gets a little confuzzling with the 11-year-old here.
Like a goatee or mutton chops?
Yeah, what are we talking about here? More detail! Or context or something.
That is part of the question.
Is there a reference picture?
No, this one.
What are we asking there? Oh, yes.
Yes, I am lost in transcription.
Yes. A
Translation?
Trying to
Sure.
figure that one out there.
Sorry.
I think we're fairly done with you here for the basics. I mean, until we buzz your
Well, that'd
hell
be-
head, which I'm not doing with the liners. We'll grab actual clippers for that.
I don't care either way.
Either way. All right, so let's see if we have any other questions before we sign off for today. There's going to be some exciting other things coming. Oh, we can do a quick little preview of a.
Oh.
It's not going to be live stream because that pretty much guarantees that one of them is going to.
Do something awful.
Somebody's
We have a lot of animals in the house.
That
For those
guarantees
of
we're
you
gonna
who
get
don't
peed on.
know us,
Yes, this is the menagerie. There are many, many creatures around here. There's the dog, that is Edna. There are the 3 cats.
Monty, Mo, and Wiggum.
Then, of course, the 2 rabbits, Thor and Cricket.
We can show you one of them.
And the bearded dragon, the Syrian.
Don't forget the chinchilla.
And the chinchilla, pigwidgeon.
Morgan is not super great with the picking of him up, but I can get it.
So
There he
we'll be doing a video that we put out probably in another week or so, where we will introduce and give you a little tour and a meet and greet with all of the cuddly animals of the house.
It will be called Meet the Pets. This is
Yes.
Cricket, and he is an Angora rabbit, and
So his wool
He has
can be
doodle
used
ears.
for like sweaters and hats and things.
one day I'm gonna
Yeah.
knit a
He's
blanket
very
out
soft.
of you, man. We already have
Very soft.
bags of hair from all of the haircuts, so.
He loves to cuddle.
Like this.
with all the animals, but we have to keep him away from the big rabbit because that's the only one that he gets a little frisky with.
This is the face of
Even though they're both dudes.
an attempted rapist.
We don't judge.
Well, no, I do, because no means
Well,
no,
yes,
bro.
no means no. But
Consent is important, Cricket. He doesn't understand. He really doesn't.
it's because he's a rabbit.
And he's a jerk, except he's so sweet.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to sign off.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody.
So,
Thank you.
Hope you learned things. If not, add more comments below and we'll try to answer them throughout the time. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy.